32 years, hundreds of thousands, even millions of motorcycle riding patriots from across the country came together here in Washington, D.C. to be part of something huge, bigger than themselves. It has become clear to AMVETS that we need to take action to ensure those who still want to be part of a massive motorcycle demonstration here have a safe, organized way to be heard, advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves.
I'm happy to be able to tell you that we're going to have that event in 2021, one way or the other here in Washington, D.C.
There are more than 82,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines still missing in action. We must not stop fighting for them and their families left wondering what has happened to their loved ones until every single one is truly accounted for.
It's too important not to commemorate, not too important not to speak up loudly nationwide, but right here in Washington, D.C. We hope to see all of you there.
What we are planning is actually a series of events that will span 3 days. The first official event will be the Blessing of the Bikes held at the Washington National Cathedral.
We welcome everyone
to be part of the world's largest one-day motorcycle event and the nation's largest protest demonstration.
who wants to stand up for these heroes, demand our nation keep its promise to our veterans and their families.
In an era when individuality is celebrated, there are many who want to be part of something much bigger than themselves. Rolling to Remember Demonstration Ride is just that.
When I served, my work was critical, and I don't feel like that's the case anymore.
I lost all of my friends when I got out. Had to start my whole life over.
I didn't know what to do each day. Then my marriage hit a real rough patch.
It got so bad that I was even thinking about suicide. I called the Veterans Crisis Line. I tell my buddies to call in case they ever need it.
When I retired, things slowed way down and lots of bad memories came back. I still go through tough times, but I'm glad I called.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
You are not alone.
The person on the other end of the line isn't going to judge. Lots of responders are veterans too.
We all need to take care of ourselves. If you're going through a rough time, call the Veterans Crisis Line.
So, as has been reported in the media, we have 9 out of the 10 agencies that are necessary to issue permits for the demonstration run to be able to happen as it's happened for more than 30 years under past organizers. But with 9 out of the 10 agencies giving us a thumbs up, we're ready to go. The one agency that has not yet given us a thumbs up happens to be probably the most important agency in this, and that would be the Pentagon.
That's me almost 2 weeks ago, airing an IT investigation into why the U.S. Defense Department is holding up what seems to be a simple decision to allow or deny thousands of military veterans to use the Pentagon parking lot for a staging area for Rolling to Remember.
Which of course has always been the staging area for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of patriots who are riding motorcycles in this demonstration to be able to park in one spot.
When's the last time you heard from the Pentagon?
We have not heard from the Pentagon since the day after you called them the first time. So that's been a few weeks now.
At the very least, we need the Pentagon to open lines of communication with us. We filed our application properly way back in July, and up until now, they have not been willing to communicate with us. We've had just a few very short phone calls that merely acknowledge the receipt of our permit. We are working with every other agency, and there are a lot of agencies that are responsible for that region. And we're working with all of those. The Pentagon was the only one that wouldn't work with us. We understand there's a lot of concerns out there. There's safety concerns, there's security concerns, logistical concerns. We believe we're ready to address all of those. And we want to meet the Pentagon's expectations. We're ready to. We're committed to making that investment, whatever it takes to be able to meet those expectations.
We want to make sure that when people come, that we have a safe environment,
A 32-year Memorial Day tradition broken. The Pentagon just denied a request to use a DoD parking lot for the MVets Rolling to Remember. That's an annual demonstration raising awareness for American service members missing in action, prisoners of war, and for those vets fighting for their mental health upon return home.
It did admit it revoked a parking permit for AMVETS for the event after approving it in March.
It's very disappointing. And for our members, there's been shock and deep disappointment expressed to us.
As far as the location itself, we have a plan B, which is RFK Stadium, which used to house a NFL team.
So Joe, there's been a lot going into making this happen. There's been a couple different staging locations or perceived staging locations, but how has the process been? If you would, let everyone listening know just how crazy it's been.
A couple weeks ago, had no idea where we were staging, and then we were going to be staging at RFK, then not RFK, then in the streets of DC, and then back to RFK. We know where we are now. I think we've compressed what we would normally do in about 8-9 months into 2 weeks at this point. We saw the text message from the mayor saying, go ahead and stage at RFK. But yeah, it's been one heck of a roller coaster ride throughout this, but the bottom line was we weren't going to give up. We've been told no by some pretty high up entities, but we know, as we've said all along for 2 years, this is too important to not allow to happen, not to keep fighting for. And then on Sunday, we don't know how many people are coming, but all indications it's going to be a massive gathering.
This has always been going to happen, because people wanted it to happen. Yeah, it's been crazy. We've changed the route so many times. I'm not. That's why I was a little. I don't know where you should watch it because we keep changing it. But I think it's going to be a great ride, and I think it's a good year to bring it back, the tradition. You see bikes all over the streets, and I think it's going to be an awesome weekend, and I think that we will continue the tradition. I'm pleased. I'm excited. I want this to be a success. I want people to come and to remember, and again, to demand accountability to our, for these individuals.